Hello, this is Juan Mata, and you're listening to the Tiki-Talka Football Show.
Yes, you are.
Yes, Juan Mata, you're listening to the Tiki-Talka Football Show on Shock Radio.
That just never gets old, does it?
It doesn't. And, we are...
You met him again, didn't you?
I met him again, yeah?
Yeah, like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, so if you've been following the Tiki-Talka Instagram...
Which I'm sure you have.
Of course you have. And the Facebook group, you've seen that, we have a new signing, and he's coming back.
He's renewing his contract.
He's renewing his contract at Tiki-Talka FC. Saif, he's playing campus leagues, isn't he, Saif?
Yeah.
He's a bit slow, though.
Yeah,
he's still got the touch.
Yeah. I'd beat him in a race.
I tell you what, I was at a wedding a couple of weeks back, and there was a United youngster there. He played in the youth team, and I can't obviously give you some of the juicy gossip that he gave me.
Go on, what?
I'll give you some.
Tiki-Talka sources.
I'll give you some. He says Juan Mata is technically the best footballer he's ever seen. He says in training and on the pitch, obviously he's a bit older now. He's not got the pace, but he's still got that first touch, that vision.
I can see that.
It's not hard to believe, is
He's
it?
technically brilliant. And he also says Andres Pereira is one of the best footballers that he's ever seen as well.
I like Pereira. A lot of people, like my brother, hates him. He's like, what's he good at? He's not good at defending. He's not good at attacking. I like Pereira. I like the way he gets in between. I just don't think we're making the runs to accommodate a player that's that creative. I think if we got any attacking midfielder like that at the moment.
He's never really had time in the first team, consistent time, has he? He's always...
And he's getting played on the wing as well.
He's not a winger.
He's constantly coming in, and we've got no width, and we've got no one overlapping. We just have no...
And he's saying we, isn't he? Downtown Brown.
Downtown Brown is saying we.
Brown, although he's wearing an FC Soul shirt.
What a kid.
I'm a United/Rangers fan. It's cool kit, this.
How did you get that shirt then?
So,
let's talk about what we're wearing.
I'm going to name drop a couple people.
I love it.
My mum's friend worked as an injury secretary for United for years, and then we played FC Seoul whatever year in pre-season, and she got given this shirt by one of the players who swapped with them, and then for my birthday I got it. So I've got some player, if anyone reads Chinese,
Korean.
whoever that, Korean, I don't know. I'm causing an international incident. Yeah, so that's the story behind the shirt.
What are you wearing today, Lars?
So you were saying you were a Rangers fan, was it?
Yeah. My dad's Glaswegian and...
Oh no!
See you later. Top of the league, though.
Yeah, we can obviously talk about the Scottish League if you
We
want
can.
to.
I'd love to.
I've been.
He's wearing a Celtic shirt,
I'm wearing
by
a
the way,
Celtic
people.
shirt. It's the 50th anniversary one. It's called a Lisbon Lions Celtic. And do you know why?
Because they won
tell.
the Champions League in Lisbon.
Yes,
in
that's
1967.
That's great.
Was it not against my team?
It was not. I checked that, but it was against.
He's wearing a Benfica shirt.
Yeah, it was in Lisbon, but it was against Inter Milan, and the following year, who won the European Cup against Benfica? Man United.
Yeah, I knew that was a link.
Yeah.
So the Scottish League, who's top?
Rangers are top.
Really? For the first
Rangers
time in
are
how
top.
long?
When did
it all
going
go wrong?
for 10 years in a row.
Yeah.
About 10 years ago, when we had the huge financial crisis.
It was the liquidation, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the
And
liquidation.
you've had to climb the leagues. Is that similar to something that Bury will have to do? Because obviously in what they did, Bolton got bought out, didn't they? In the last minute chance.
I presume so.
Will Bury have to rename, go to the bottom, and climb back up?
No, because that's not what happened to Rangers, was it? They just got dropped down to the 4th tier, wasn't it?
Yeah, they got down. They dropped down all the way to the bottom. I'm not sure why the financial thing happened.
No, because in Bury,
it was such a big club like Rangers. You can imagine it with Bury that
it was strange because they still had the fans turning up. That was what I was really impressed with. 3rd and 4th division, we still had maybe not 50,000, but 30, 40,000 every week watching these, getting behind the team.
I've been to Ibrox.
Beautiful
I've been in the trophy room that you have.
54 league titles, a world record.
Just so you know. just so you know.
in your Celtic shirt. 54
SPL
league titles.
titles.
My granddad's all there smiling like, yeah.
I think me and Saif have got a few SPLs down the back of the couch.
Everyone. But yeah, in the trophy room. Okay, I'll ask this. What's weird things you find in trophy rooms?
Sometimes you find like socks and and gloves. And
Go on, Saif.
Well, if it's like the Arsenal one, probably dust.
Hey,
Go on. Do you have a suggestion?
Weird things. You
In the
find-
trophy room.
Trophies, baby.
Trophies, yeah. How about...
Not if you're Arsenal. Wait! Sorry, Finn.
Sorry,
How about a moose head with medals hanging down?
Oh, is this in the Rangers
This
one?
in the Rangers
Makes
trophy room.
sense.
I haven't actually been in the range. I've been to watch games, but I've never done the tour of the Iron Rock.
It's because I wasn't doing the tour, but just me and my family we showed up at the stadium and we just knocked on the door and this receptionist comes out and we were like, hiya, is it possible to have a little look around the stadium? And they were like, nah, the tour's closed today.
Go on, try and do a Scottish accent, Lars.
Oh,
Please, you did it on
Don't
holiday and it was
Celtic
good.
shirt.
It was
On
good,
holiday.
man. His scouse is brilliant.
Sounds like a Disney character.
That's
We're not skipping past this. You have to do it.
Scottish.
Scottish. Say there's been a murder.
It's been a murder.
That's not bad. That's not
Scottish.
bad.
So Alex,
So I thought the moose head was just the SPL trophy. I just thought that's what they gave you. Well done, Paul.
well done,
Have
Paul.
the head of a severed
It's a
deer.
nice trophy. Have you seen the SPL trophy?
No.
It's
Well,
nice.
not recently.
Still under my bed.
Yeah.
Shall we crack on with
Shall
the
we
week?
crack on?
Crack on with
What
the-
happened this week in football then, Lars?
The weekly roundup on Tiki-Talka.
I miss Tom Hinkley, man.
I missed
I miss Tom Hinkley. What
Tom
a guy.
Hinkley, the voice of these jingles.
Legend.
Legend.
We'll never change these jingles.
Doing stuff at Access Manchester now,
Really?
Capital and stuff.
That's cool.
Sick guy. But yeah, internationals. That's what's been
Do
happening.
you get bored during the international friendlies?
Yeah.
Yeah. The simple answer is yeah.
I like watching international football when it's the Euros or World Cup, and I know they've made the Nations League, so it's meant to not be pointless anymore. But come on, like
It's still
I
very
love
pointless.
turning on the TV on a Saturday and Sunday and seeing a list of Premier League games, even like the SPL, a bit of Championship, maybe Spanish League later on.
Yeah.
I think it just gets a bit boring, doesn't it? Really.
Well, it's like it does feel like there's nothing at stake, even though these are
Yeah,
qualifiers. And like what I was going to come to, but we're there already. England lost for the first time since like 2009, 2007, and it still didn't even really register because
You're through
it's the
already,
first.
aren't you?
It's the first loss in like 12 years
Yeah.
in the qualifying stage, and still nobody cares. That's big,
Yeah.
that's how little it means because it is such.
because we're going to
usual-
get through, aren't we? We're going to go to the finals.
Such a run of the. Is there,
Doesn't
a way, is
really
there a way
matter.
they could spice that up, or would it bring down
Well-
the knockout stages of the competition if they did?
The thing is, though, with the qualifiers, is obviously they want the best teams in the competitions.
That's why you do pots.
And then why do pots and seedings and stuff like that. So qualifiers is much more important for teams like Norway, for example. Ding, ding, ding. Because we don't often get to tournaments. Norway haven't been in a tournament in 2002.
Really? Wow.
No,
Has it-
sorry, 2000. We beat Spain in the Euros that year.
Yeah.
But we went out anyways. And we played Spain now in the qualifiers, played 1-1.
And you drew.
We drew.
And I watched the highlights, and you were the better team. Spain's squad was very weak for what it can
I think
be.
Spain's even weak squad is a pretty
It's
strong.
still pretty
Premier League
good.
Squad,
It's
isn't
still-
it?
Better than Norway.
It's better than Norway. But Josh King ran rings around him. And the most Norway thing ever, ding, ding, ding. You draw 1-1 with Spain, and then what happens?
And then we go to Romania.
And what happens there?
We drew again.
This is what I mean. Like, you'd be so buzzing after
the thing
drawing
is-
against
That's
Spain.
football, though, isn't it?
That's
thing-
football.
The thing is, Norway is in a group with Sweden, always in tournaments.
Yeah.
We're in a group with Romania, who's a tough side. We're in a group with Spain, obviously one
Tough
of the best.
side if you're Norway.
Yeah, exactly. And Spain was obviously one of the
number
world's
one.
best. And then we have some smaller nations, Faroe Islands and Malta and stuff,
Yeah.
who we beat. Those are the only two teams we've beaten,
Yeah.
and we only lost once away to Spain.
To Spain. Unlucky 2-1, wasn't it?
And lucky 2-1. And
Yeah.
we draw so many games. We've drawn 5 in the qualifiers. And there's very little chance that Norway go through in the qualifiers.
Yeah.
However, we have the lovely Nations League.
But like also with like the World Cup coming up, they want to make
The
changes to
Euros.
that, don't they? Like I mean, in Qatar,
Oh, yeah.
they want to make changes to it. They want to make it a bigger tournament with like what is it, 32 teams?
No, they were talking about expanding to 48, but
Wow.
they scrapped the idea.
Why do you think they did that? Would you back it? Would you back more teams in the World Cup?
I mean, I'd
Are
love-
you a bit biased? Should I not really be asking you?
No, but I'd love to see Norway in the tournament if it makes it easier for Norway to get in.
And everybody loves an underdog story.
Yeah,
the Ghana
absolutely.
in Ghana in
They're gonna be so-
2010.
Yeah,
There'll be
there's
so
always
many.
one, isn't there?
Colombia
Always
2014,
one. Yeah.
like the teams that you just get behind. I think if you had like more teams actually qualifying.
Even
for the
Wales
knockouts.
in the Euros,
That's
you know,
what I
when they got
mean.
the semis.
When they beat Belgium,
Wow.
like wow. Like everybody loves an underdog, and I think if you expand the tournament, it gives more chances for teams like that to do stuff, make history a bit
Maybe.
more.
I think it's just the organisation of it all. Like 48 teams. If you're doing groups of 4,
In a
all
Winter
playing-
World Cup.
Wow, like
In a Winter World Cup.
What are your opinions on that, Saif?
On what, sorry?
On the whole... Do you even listen to what
This is
we're
what
saying?
I mean. This is what I mean.
To the World Cup in Qatar, like being a Winter World Cup, and well, they said that they're not going to expand to 48 teams. What are your opinions about the whole international football scene as it is now?
I think the winter, the fact that it's in winter doesn't. I think a lot's been made out of that. But does it? How badly does it affect all the schedules for the other leagues and other competitions?
I think a lot of the games are in through. What would it be in December or January or something?
Yeah.
How would they do that in the Premier League?
How would it even
I
work
don't
with all the
understand that.
leagues?
Because like it's in England, it's a winter sport, so they take a summer break, and that's and like how
would it even?
the World Cup lasts a month.
So would we
You're
play
gonna-
the Premier League through the summer and then have a winter break?
I don't think you can do that.
And then go
can
back
you?
to normal the next
surely,
year, like,
surely you
what?
just got to rearrange. So, okay, in a month you'll play on average, call it 4 games. You're just going to have to get them into 3-game weeks, perhaps. Maybe 4 3-game weeks that you'll just have to fill up the
Usually
time
through
for.
December though, they play like 6 or 7
Yeah.
games.
Oh, have you
It's
seen what's happening this
hectic.
Boxing Day? It's like a 10-game marathon. like from like 11 in the morning till 8 at night. There's just game after game. I read it and I cried a little.
Yeah, I'm not going to family dinner that day, I think. I'll stay at home. But yeah, obviously, one of the main topics of we're going to mention this before we go on to our main bulk of the show, which is about racism. Salford City won.
Yes, they did.
Get
Have you
in.
seen the conspiracy when United lose, Salford win, and vice versa?
No. What?
So, like, I don't know too much about it. Go on. But like, apparently, because like they're run by somewhat of the same people, like people who have connections in both, right? With the Beckhams and the Butts and the Nevilles, they have stakes in Salford. There's just a conspiracy that like they're trying to make them go into the same league and then eventually combine as clubs. It was going to be my.
That's not going to happen.
That's very long-winded.
Instead of controversial corner, we'll have conspiracy corner.
That's going to be my corner.
Salford and Man U are the same team. Look at it, Rooney.
Fair.
Nah, it's an empty theory.
Yeah, very much so. It's not based on facts, is it?
No.
I've got a quick one on
Go on.
Rooney, if you don't mind, since you mentioned Rooney.
Which
right?
one?
Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney.
The real Wayne Rooney. The wheel Rooney.
Yeah.
The wheel. Said Wayne
Wayne
Hodgson.
Rooney. Right. So Derby have apparently signed him for January
Yeah.
as a player coach. Why did we not get Rooney back as a player coach? The guy who's 33, right? We have Mason Greenwood, who's 17, who I think is going to be fantastic. Both-footed. We've also got Rashford, who I don't rate too much at the moment, but he's 21. I feel like everything's being piled on him and Mason Greenwood. Get Rooney in. Rooney's only 33. Not only to work with them on the training pitch, but come in if they can't handle the pressure.
And he's been handling it fine in the MLS. I mean, I know it's not at the same standard,
How can you
but it's
write
still
off a
professional
man who's
football.
our greatest goal scorer of all time and he's 33? And Rooney's class, like.
Do you think it's going to do bits in the Championship then?
I think he'll do well.
I think he'll bring them up.
I think if he came to United, he'd do bits.
Yeah. I think with Derby, I think they're a team already ready to come up. Last year they showed that and by next year, no matter who they've got
some
behind
good
the
players.
wheel, I think that's why it's a smart move for Rooney because he's going to a team that is on the up, and when they get back into the Prem, that'll be the real test of how he is as a manager. He was always a kind of player to go into that kind of route, and I think he'll work well with a team like Derby. And I think once we get into the Prem. And they've got to. It'll be a true test of if he's a good manager. And then maybe. Steven Gerrard didn't go straight to Liverpool, but you know he will. You know he will. After Jurgen Klopp's gone.
He's waiting around, and I'm happy while he's at Rangers.
There you go.
He's an awesome manager.
Yeah, he's doing bits.
Absolutely.
And he will do bits at Liverpool when Klopp leaves.
How's that for you? Obviously being a United and Rangers fan, suddenly having to like Steven Gerrard. How's that for you?
Do you know what? I've always respected Gerrard because he's one of them people. He's
gasping to the mic.
He's like Trent, who's now at Liverpool now. I really like Trent.
Yeah, he's
he still
brilliant.
lives with his parents. He's a good model for footballers. He's a great athlete.
does it 'cause he loves it.
And I like watching. I've always been like that with Gerrard. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of Liverpool, but as soon as he comes, the way he handles the interviews, the way he handles it, the way the players speak about it, the way we're playing now, we've won the last 2 games 5-0. We're now ahead of Celtic. We lost to Celtic early in the season, but we beat Celtic last year for the first time in God knows how long.
Yeah. I actually watched that Old Firm game.
Yeah.
I want to
better
be
than
Edward. Isn't that what they're saying?
Bit of a weird one.
Like.
Bit of a weird one. I think we've talked about it on the show before now, and we won't go too much into it. But if you could have Rangers and Celtic in the Premier League, would you?
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Where do you think they'd finish at the end?
I think at the moment, I think Rangers and Celtic would probably be around where United are.
You think?
I think they
mid-low table.
I think they're actually got a better attack. I think Rangers right now, Jermaine Defoe, right? He may be old. I don't know how well he's doing the Prem, but do you remember
you're
him
hurting
at
that
Spurs?
table, by the way.
Do you remember him
Do you
at
hear me?
Spurs? Jermaine Defoe is a finisher.
Oh, he's
a
loving it.
definition
He's
of a
loving
finisher.
it.
Like. So it's same with Morales. Great players. They've got Ryan Kent, who's awesome.
Who did that? Mirallas?
Morales.
Yeah, you know.
I thought you said Mirallas. Isn't Kevin Mirallas?
Morales.
Is he a Rangers?
Is he still at Everton?
No, he left.
I think we've talked about this before, but in the most boring game of football I ever watched live, it was Everton versus West Brom. I watched it at Goodison on a rainy Wednesday evening.
Rainy Wednesday.
And Everton got a penalty in the first minute. Kevin Morales takes it, misses it. Nothing else happened. I can't remember anything. It was the worst game of football I've ever seen.
I found out where Kevin Morales plays. He plays for Royal Antwerp in
Belgium.
In Belgium,
Yeah.
who
He
used
is
to be,
Belgian, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
used to be, I think, still are maybe. He used to be United's kind of, well, you know, like Chelsea has Vitesse,
Yeah,
where they
yeah.
send players on loan. United had ever Royal Antwerp, and so Johnny Evans, for example, went on loan to Royal Antwerp.
See, Johnny Evans didn't do too well in a United shirt, but he's captain of Northern Ireland, and he's playing for Leicester, right? Like he's
Leicester this season.
That,
Wow.
I was saying,
Wow.
I think last week that they will replace United in the top six for a
Absolutely.
couple of years.
This season
They're
at
playing
least. This
electric
season at
football.
least.
And do you know what? It kind of annoys me a bit because I'm still not over the way they treated Claudio Ranieri.
No.
They've still not
How
paid.
can you get sacked a year later
This is
after
what I
winning
mean.
the Prem?
They've not paid their dues for that yet.
No.
But they will. Karma works in quite obvious ways, and they
Cynical
will,
word.
they will get theirs. They will
It's a
get
game
theirs.
of football.
So are we playing controversial corner? You're saying Leicester are going down because of karma? Is that what you're saying?
Why not? Play it.
This is Controversial Corner on Tiki-Talka.
And it's a real shame. It's a real shame. Because I like Brendan Rodgers. I think he's a brilliant manager. I like James Maddison. I think he'll do great things for England and
Awesome
Leicester.
player.
I love the squad. I love this. What was that new centre-back they've signed with the weird...
Soyuncu.
Wow! Like he's like a ninja turtle at the back, man. He's crazy. But
Pereira, the right back. What a player.
they're still scumbags. They're still I'm sorry, but you get promoted to the Premier League. Imagine this. Close your eyes. Go back to a mystical land far, far away.
Norway.
Norway, ding, ding, ding. A man brings up a championship side within 2 or 3 years of being in the top division in the league. Not only does he win the league, he gets his team to the quarterfinals of the biggest and hardest competition in
Not
club
with a
football.
huge purse either.
And
it wasn't like they just got
Jamie
took over.
With Jamie Vardy, with 3 good players, with Kante, with Vardy, and with Mahrez, he took the world alight. And then after a bad start to the season, the next season, you get sacked. Oh, there's bad juju there. If Claudio Ranieri's got any gypsies in his family, they are cursed, I tell you, cursed.
So how many years until Leicester are down again?
Just one more. They'll do really well this season, maybe even 4th, and then next season down.
If
Down.
they lose Maddison and Didi,
And that's what they do. That's what they do. They'll do
That
really well.
midfield is going.
They're like Sevilla or Monaco. They do really well and bring up these players, and then other teams go, "Yeah, we'll just take them from you, mate." Leicester, they'll never have constants apart from Jamie
They
Vardy.
have great recruitment, clearly.
Yeah, clearly. But I still want them to go down because of the way they treated Ranieri.
If they do keep that team, though, that is a solid.
Absolutely.
Especially that starting 11 as well. It's like stars have aligned at that club because
Yeah, yeah.
Rodgers, great manager, and now you've got young players who are going to look sick for at least 2, 3, 4 seasons, especially Tielemans.
I love Tielemans.
Exactly.
That whole
Magician.
midfield, and Didi, most tackles in the Prem last year. Maddison has created the most chances since the start of last season. Coming out with stats
stars
here.
aligning,
Tielemans is just unreal. Like,
Yeah.
great
But
team.
you want them out. And other stuff we want out is racism.
Oh, he loves
great
a link.
link,
He loves
great
it.
link.
We told you about
Come
these
on.
links.
I
haven't
got
we?
warned about
We
it.
told you about these
Because
links.
this is obviously what we're going to, mainly discuss on today's show. Racism in football. Obviously, during the Bulgaria-England game, there were loads of racist chants. The game was stopped twice. What's happening?
Fair play to Gareth Southgate and his men. They were asked the question, are your players willing to continue? And I tell you what, mate, I probably wouldn't have been.
Yeah.
If I'd have been in that position, even if I'm Kane or someone who's not
I
being
think it's
actually
difficult
abused.
to imagine unless you're actually being in a stadium with all these people chanting at you is bad enough.
Because it was
But when
kind of
they're at
empty,
your race,
wasn't it? It was kind of an empty stadium.
They emptied most of the stadium because of the racism.
And then
you get the ultras coming in. Yeah. Or do you know what's interesting? I've seen a Berbatov interview on, I think it was Red Devils TV, and he speaks to the guy and he's talking about when he used to play in Bulgaria and how when they played badly, the ultras would come into the changing room and start talking to the players in it. And he was like, why are you doing that? It's not going to make us play any better. You just make us scared. So obviously the ultras in Bulgaria have a huge hold over the teams. They have the ability to walk into the teams' changing rooms, and you can see them all there. They were not afraid of anything.
That is just wrong. That is just so wrong.
Obviously, United Liverpool this weekend. Dimitar Berbatov, his hat trick,
his favourite game.
Bulgaria's finest, Dimitar Berbatov.
No
Go on.
I think imagine. Okay, let's go from Berbatov's perspective. It must be really hard to watch for someone like him, and then look at from another perspective, Gareth Southgate. And I said it from the start, when he first got the England job, I did not think he was the man.
No.
And then I was proved very, very wrong, and my words
Me
tasted
too.
delicious. My words tasted lovely, and then. The way he handled the interview after, and when the referee approached him saying, "Do you want your players to carry on?" He had pride, and he knew that he was representing the country at that moment.
Yeah, the country loves him,
and he didn't back down. He wasn't afraid, and he said, "Let's do it." He said, "Let's do it." So they carried on. And the racism continued, and the game did finish, and England actually played really well. Apart from the racism to take away from it, the performance from people like Tyrone Mings and a couple of the new stars.
It was one of the main...
Brilliant.
One of the main people that were receiving
victims,
the abuse.
We talked about this last year with Sterling, and how, again... I was completely wrong about Sterling. I think the country was wrong about Sterling.
Absolutely.
I think everybody had a bad taste in their mouth with Sterling. And then the way he...
It was just his finishing. He was always in the positions. He
never
started
did
off
it.
as a youngster at Liverpool, made his way. Obviously, Guardiola signed him. He's a fantastic player, but there was always that thing of his finishing. Now look at it.
And since the way he's changed his game and the way he approaches people being racist towards him...
Absolutely.
In a giant way, in a really impressionable way for young kids, they will look up, and whether you like it or not, when you're a footballer, you are a role model.
Yeah.
And I think Raheem Sterling has realised that people will look up to someone like him, and they should, because he has dealt with it so well. He has made the racists look like the idiots they are, and he's done it again.
Yeah, and he's taken to Twitter after the game.
Good.
He said, feeling sorry for Bulgaria to be represented by such idiots in their own stadium. Anyway, 6-0, and we go home. At least we did our job. Safe trials to our fans. You guys did well. Love.
And that's all it needs.
That's how you handle it.
That's not a man looking for a fight. That's not a man.
You go in, win 6-0, you drop a tweet and walk out.
And then you drop the microphone as you're leaving. I'm telling you, man, this is so much bigger than football. So much bigger.
What did you guys think of the way UEFA handled it? Because this is the first time it's been handled mid-game where fans got taken out. So.
Well, I've seen a little bit about the precautions they're meant to take. So there's 3-step processes or something like that. So the ref stops the game, doesn't he? And then he tells them to stop. And then I think the third step, I'm not clear on these, but it gets stopped somewhere along the line, doesn't it?
Yeah, so obviously the official had discussions with Gareth Southgate, with the other coach, with the players and stuff, asking, well, what's going to happen there? Shall we continue? What's up? Obviously, as you say, much bigger than the game itself, this racism issue. And I think it was how can you deal with it? You can't stop people shouting, can you?
No.
But you can obviously take them out of the stadium so they can't shout, if that makes sense.
My friend was actually there. A friend of a friend. He was there.
Okay.
And
They're pretty close.
Yeah, they're great mates. And they're trying to leave the stadium, and obviously the Bulgarian fans were waiting for them, and the English fans got locked in the stadium for an hour and a half waiting for the Bulgarian fans to leave. And it does just bring up the question, how do you deal with a problem like this? It's bigger than football. It's bigger than just Bulgaria as well. And I'll tell you a story, actually. When I did a bit of travelling this summer, went to Norway, ding, 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 where I went to go watch football with Lars. I went to go watch one other football game whilst I was away. I was in Prague with Luke.
Prague.
And we go to watch a Stava Prague game, and we walk to the stadium and we're buzzing, man. I'm on my jollies. I'm going to go watch some European football. Happy days. They were in a Europa League qualifier with, who's Daniel Sturridge just signed for? Trabzonspor.
Trabzonspor.
Yeah, they're in a Europa League qualifier. I get there, And I'm like, mate, it's an hour before kickoff and there's nobody here. Go to buy a ticket and the guy just points to a sign and it says, due to UEFA ban, there will be no fans allowed in this game. Racism.
Wow.
It's bigger than Bulgaria. It's bigger than just one country, and it's bigger than a group of 40 ultras. You can kick people out of a stadium, you can arrest, you can ban, and you can fine. But how do you actually kick the racism out of football? It goes so much bigger than football.
And in the game of football, I don't think UEFA can solve it. But all they can do is their best. Everyone's saying, well, how are UEFA handling it? Like, they can't stop people being racist.
Do you know what we need? We need about 3 to 4 minutes to think about it.
Yeah. We need a halftime banger.
We need a halftime banger.
Make sure you like our Facebook page, The Tiki-Talka Football Show, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at @ShockTikiTalka. #UpTheTicks.
Very nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Welcome back to the Tiki-Talka Football Show on Shock Radio, coming to you every Friday, 3 to 4 p.m. My name is still Lars, James Ward is still here, Saif Rafiq is still here, and Downtown Brown.
Downtown Brown. How are you finding it?
I'm loving it.
Yeah,
my
man.
little loan spell at Tiki-Talka. I'm liking it. I'm liking it.
BBC will come and knock in,
Yeah.
and then you'll forget all about us.
They probably will. So, we have some comments on our Facebook live
Read 'em
stream as per usual. We have a comment from Alex Alferreira.
Oh, yeah.
Who's saying, has this personal message to you, James Ward?
Yeah.
I'll send you a Porto jersey. Wearing a Benfica jersey, it's a shame.
Like, I met him through first year, and he travels all about the world watching football games.
Really?
I have no idea what he does. But like,
What a guy.
I just met him first year, had a drink with him, French, really nice guy, and then he went off to do his own things. And every time I look at his social media, he's at like the Allianz or like it's just amazing how much football he goes to watch around Europe.
Oh, is he the French guy, John Lester?
Yes,
Legend.
two of them. They were
Legend.
both really nice.
Yeah, they were, definitely. And we also have Tom Young, who's commented about the Salford United thingy, that they will merge to one club, which obviously a lie. But he will say they can combine in the Championship.
Yeah, cheers, Young.
That's what he's saying.
You know what, Young, I don't mind saying this on air. Young has liked football for 5 minutes. He's been a Liverpool fan for 10 minutes. So yeah, I just like to throw
It's
that
good
out
time
there.
to become a Liverpool fan.
It's weird, that, isn't it? It's weird. It's weird.
But
yeah.
we'll talk more about Liverpool later.
Yeah, please.
Back on track with the racism stuff.
Oh, Jabronson is demanding a shout out.
It's demanding.
He's demanding it. So why don't you Jabron time?
Ah, okay.
We're shouting you out, Joe, bro. Here you are. Give us a question. Oh, I think you just did.
Oi. Do we exclude teams that have been accused of racism from any international tournament? Good question.
Now you see, me and Saif were talking about this because we can talk about the racism problem all day, but the issue that it needs to come to is what do we do about it? What is the solution? And I think you've got to get harsh. You've got to get real. I know that the fans if fans aren't getting turned away by being arrested and banned, then surely you've got to like. Can you even go as far as shutting clubs down from domestic football and like having them kicked out of the league for a year or demoted or having fans banned forever for like 3 years? What do you do?
But at the same time, if a Bulgaria fan is being racist towards one of the England players or whichever player, should then the Bulgarian football team be punished for something a fan did?
Right. That's a good point.
That is a good point.
That's where the grey areas come in. It's like, well, my brother was saying, well, all the ultras are walking in, they're all kind of dressed the same, all in the hoodies. Are the people in the stadium not like, oh, what's going on here with all these people? But then you're discriminating against people by the way they look and the way they dress, and that opens up a whole new...
Yeah. In 2019, you can't do that.
Like, how do you do it? Like, it's so difficult.
I think... we've tried punishing the fans. We've tried banning them, fining them, kicking them out of the actual stadium, not letting them allowed back in. It's going to have to get more severe. I think you've got to punish the club and maybe even the country.
What do you mean, Saif? What do you think?
I can't help feeling like all of these bans and arresting people, it doesn't do much because we've been doing this for years, right? And unfortunately, I don't know if we are seeing a rise or is it staying the same? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's definitely not. We're not winning our battle against racism. It doesn't feel like it in the current climate anyway. So I feel like this is where my head keeps going. It's, you know how like Sterling brought this up quite brilliantly.
Yeah.
Is we need to look at other ways we talk about race. For example, in the media, if the narrative in the media is always so negative when it comes to race, then can we be so shocked at the effects of that? Like when we see racism in stadiums, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good point.
It's a good point.
It's a good point. I just think that go to the stem of the problem, because like we've said again and again, it's bigger than football. Why are people racist? Is it miseducation? Is it is it undereducated? Well, then educate the people, man. Because I went to these places this summer, like Prague. I went to the Ukraine.
No way.
No, ding, ding, ding. And I went to Ukraine and I was speaking to people there and they were saying, yeah, people are in some parts just naturally racist.
Well, they are here. They are in England.
They're not in Norway, though.
Yeah. And
Nice.
it's just, why are these old ways of thinking still about in 2019? It's got to start with children, right? You've got to start with kids. I think that you first, with teams like reoffenders like Prague, like the Bulgarian national team. Well, not the team, the fans. Well, I'm always talking about the fans. You ban them once, they don't listen, which they clearly won't. They're Nazis. For Lord's sake, do you know what I mean? They're Nazis. They're Sieg Heiling at a football game. So you ban them from going to watch the game for a few years, whilst an education, call it 5 years, whilst an education system is put in place in the schools, in the people that get caught offending, they are rehabilitated. That's what I mean. It's not going to get swept under the rug. He's right. We are losing this battle because they're not going to listen to a little prison sentence, a fine or a ban. They're not going to listen. So you've got to go in at the root, which is children, and educate them.
And a point I was, I actually forgot my point now. I had a good point in there.
Did my eyes? Did you look into my eyes and then you forgot?
I got a
they
bit
have
lost.
that effect.
Yeah.
We'll leave them to it.
Not usually on men, but we'll take it.
Nah, well, you know, we've made this joke quite a few times, haven't we, that I'm interested in more than just the average girl. The joke. You like to make that joke from time to time, don't you?
I got a point here from I got a point from Rob and Alex here. Rob Johnson says it's unfortunate because it can go one of two ways. You can ban the club or fine the club, etc. And the fans, and the comments gone. And the fans no longer abuse players, or they do it twice as bad. Clubs shouldn't suffer from the behaviour of their fans. Clubs can't predict fan behaviour, but they must punish them fans.
I agree with Rob, because I also feel like punishing clubs, firstly, a club, you can't be responsible for your fans. You just can't be. And also, how effective is that going to be anyway?
I think a club has to be responsible for its fans. I think, look at it at a school level. Or something else, like you go and you take people representing your club and they are representing you. I know that I don't think you should punish the club itself, as in ban the club from competitions, unless they're a serial reoffender. Unless they're a serial reoffender, maybe over a course of... Because I said to him, as severe as it can go, with the Bulgarian national team, do you know what? I was so emotional about it. What I would have done is ban them for qualifying for the next Euros and ban them for qualifying for the next World Cup.
Well, they're not going to qualify anyway, are they?
But
really?
ban them even given a chance.
It's not a huge loss.
That's an 8-year sentence. And I understand that it's the club paying the price and the ultras will still be ultras and still racist somewhere else. But maybe it's not punishing the club. Maybe it should be the club's responsibility to punish its fans.
And
he put his hand up. Me. No, pick him.
I remembered my point now. Why does racism in football stadiums happen? I think that's a question we need to... because Youngi's comment, that helped me remember my point, was that saying mob mentality plays a massive part, and that if one person do it, then another one do it. Yeah, like you see, like with chants, it could be like, he's our own steward, whatever. It could be like something funny like that, and then it could be, what should I say? One racist chant develops to something more because they're in a comfortable area where they're outside the normal world.
It's tribal. It's my tribe against yours. It's war for 90 minutes.
It's normal to shout at the people on the pitch. Like,
it's in them. Do you know what I mean? It's primal. But I understand the point with the mob mentality. But if that is the way, then why isn't every fan a racist? Do you know what I mean? Why isn't there these incidents at every game?
There's a certain percentage of people in every society that are idiots or are racist or are bad. And
they're the same thing.
Yeah, and solving this problem goes way beyond football. Like, you get racist in day-to-day life. Do you know what I mean?
Why is it so much in football?
I think it's the opportunity to shout without being. If someone comes out in the street and just starts shouting stuff, straight away they get arrested. But if you're in a football stadium, there's a certain amount of time where everyone else is shouting as well. That it's like you get away with it a bit more.
When you're in such huge groups, the kind of there's an erosion of individual responsibility. You feel like what you do individually, you're not going to get pulled up on.
Yeah.
So maybe you know.
Tribalism, innit?
So how do you deal with that? Well. Never do that again, please.
So Ward just stole Saif's mic mid-point. Continue, Saif.
So Finn agrees with me. Finn agrees that it should be the club's responsibility. I don't think, like, you can go outside the club, and I'm telling you, go to the children, go to schools, and go to prisons, and you rehabilitate people, and you teach them that these are archaic ways of thinking that are just outdated and just plain wrong. And you've got to attack the problem at the root. And I completely agree with Finn, who completely agreed with me, that it should be the club's responsibility. UEFA can only do so much. UEFA will only slap bans. They'll be like, yeah, the fans can't come, that'll teach them. No, it won't.
No.
It will put them off for a week, and then they come back and they've learnt nothing. You've got to have more severe punishments. I'm talking, punish the club if they don't punish the fans. Give them a chance. I'm not saying any club where one guy does one monkey noise and they're banned forever. Because, I mean, look at the Italian league, man. Yeah. That has been going on for years. The Caligari fans.
The Cagliari, yeah.
That's how you pronounce it, sorry.
Cagliari.
My mama's a pizza. They're getting banned. Come on, let's just go past it. Let's just get past it.
Make sure you're not racist there, James.
They've been getting away with it for year after year because fines and bans just do not deter these racist fans enough. So apart from, I think what my solution would be to go to the schools, go to the prisons, have actual courses on this stuff, have actual rehabilitation programs. If a club is punished once for its racist fans, then its fans should be banished for time for about 5 years. You should miss at least one major competition as a group of fans, and you should be forced to learn your lesson, because otherwise this is just going to keep getting worse. Lars, how do you fix a problem like racism in football?
Well, that's a good question, and I think we should have in order to answer that, I think we should have a little listen to what Gareth Southgate, Tyrone Mings and Harry Kane had to say after the Bulgaria game. Obviously they talked about how they dealt with this situation, so yeah, let's have a little listen to this is what they said to The Guardian.
We had a conversation about it at half time. Did we want to play on? Did we want to stop? But we made a collective decision to continue the game. We thought it was important that we'd heard it, but the protocols had been followed, and if it happened again, we would have then perhaps moved on to the next step and come off the pitch.
We said we'd play until half time, then get together and decide what we want to do, and everyone wanted to carry on and do their talking on the pitch, which I'm extremely proud of. It's not easy to play in circumstances like that, but the 6-0 victory and the way we played, the manner in which we played, I'm extremely proud of, for sure.
When I've talked to the players at the end, I think they still feel that they've been able to make a statement, but they also naturally, because of they want to be recognised for their football. They were playing so well that they didn't want to leave the pitch at that moment as well. I'm sure that would have been part of their thinking. So I'm incredibly proud of all of the players and all of the staff. I don't think, of course, we could be criticised for not going far enough, but I think we've made a huge statement, and frankly, we were in an impossible situation to get it right to the satisfaction of everybody.
What a disappointing night. I mean, it's probably one of the most appalling nights I've seen in football. Bulgaria is full of decent people and decent football fans, and a few people have embarrassed their country. And I would not try to take the moral high ground, because we're still fighting racism in our country. But I do think UEFA have to take time to collect all the facts and then decide how to act appropriately.
So that was what Gareth Southgate, Tyrone Mings, Harry Kane and an FA main guy in the FA had to say.
Do you know what's ridiculous about this? That the racism isn't even the most ludicrous part of it. It's the way that some of the Bulgarian officials and whatnot have reacted. So the Bulgarian manager has, in an article in The Independent, has been caught saying that England's racism problem is worse than Bulgaria's.
Yeah, Raheem Sterling reacted to that saying, well, not sure about that, Chief.
Not sure about that, mate. Like, is that denial? Is that...
Well, it's passing on the blame. Yeah. It's classic defensivism.
Ism.
And then, like, it gets even more ludicrous with the chief of football has been made to step down for Bulgaria, and then you've got even more ludicrous, not just the fans, it's the people who work in the stadium. With the stewards take off their bib, throw up a Zeke Island, they're part of the mob. Like, do you know what I mean? That's how you know it's more than just a small amount of percentage.
Well, it's the culture, isn't it?
It's the culture. It's a group. I'm like, how do you stomp that out? Because I swear we're going to be going in circles for years unless we get severe.
In short, how would you summarise how England dealt with the situation in Bulgaria?
And with pride, with the pride of a lion. With the pride of a lion, they not only did they take it in their stride, realize that they wanted to be recognised for their football, to go out there because they're athletes and this is what they do, and they wanted to represent their country. Not only did they do that, they also won 6-0.
They won 6. That was it.
And like that is just perfect.
Some beautiful team goals as well.
That's how you stomp out racism. You beat it 6-0.
Saif, how would you sum up England's actions in Bulgaria?
Again, like Ward said, it's really impressive. I mean, you expect people like Gareth Southgate to be really wise after situations like this, but I'm more impressed by every single player, how they come out on social media. No one's come out and been offensive in any sort of way. No. There's not been that sort of retaliation. Yeah. I mean, there's been some comments, but they've been very like...
Just being the bigger people, haven't we?
Exactly. And yeah, man, rate that.
Yeah. Feels good, doesn't it? Being on our high horse. Yeah, literally the moral high ground is ours. But no, the FA official was right. You can't just do that. You can't just be like, well, we're better than them, so it doesn't matter. Like you've got to realise that even though the problems are much bigger in places like Bulgaria and Eastern Europe, there is a racism problem in England. Like it does still exist as early as last season, and I'm telling you, we'll see it again this season. There are still that finite amount of idiots that are allowed into the stadium, and I think with problems like what the Bulgaria match arose with a big group of people that you can kind of contain, arrest and deal with as a temporary solution. In England, I don't know, I feel like it's a lot slower. I feel like it's just individuals that kind of like, I don't know, like, I know it's not the same exactly, but the fan who ran on the pitch to hit Jack Grealish, like that doesn't happen every week, but you've still got these idiots thinking that they are above the law and it's all to do with how this game of football makes them feel, because it is tribal. It is war for 90 minutes. It's you're from one town over, so I hate your guts, like that kind of thing.
Okay, well, chill. Yeah. I'm from Norway, but come on, be nice.
Do you know what I mean? And
it's even further.
It's a really tough problem to work out its solution, because, like we've said time and time again, it's much bigger than football, and that's why the punishment has to be much bigger than football.
Yeah. This is definitely not the last time we'll talk about controversial topics on Tiki-Talka, as we do. Like, we like to go deep in these discussions, but now it's time to predict some games.
Oh no. Safe to say.
Huge things happening at Old Trafford this weekend. Manchester United play Liverpool. What's going to happen, Saif?
I'll tell you how I imagine the game going, by the way, and it's unfortunate because we all want to see free-flowing football, but I don't think we are going to this weekend.
No.
I believe Man United are going to park the bus, look to play out from the counter. I think they're going to be too slow playing out from the midfield, get stopped time and time again going out. So I think it's going to be a really dead game, genuinely. Either Liverpool walk all over you and it's like a 3-0, or it's a 0-0, and I think you'll be happy. Would you be happy with a 0-0?
Yes. With the way that United are playing at the minute against top of the league, 17 wins on the bounce, is it, or something like that, like unbeaten in something scary. I would take a draw against top of the league right now, and it's a shame because it just shows how far you've fallen as a club. But what are you going to do? Liverpool are so good right now. They are so scary.
What are you saying, Downtown Brown?
Downtown Brown is saying, we are most likely going to get smashed. I think if we don't park the bus and we actually try and play against them, we have got, like, they're just on a different level. The defensively, we have not got the attack to break down against Van Dijk, Matip, Alexander-Arnold, Robertson.
The defence is just as scary as the midfield.
Mane, I think Mane is the best Liverpool player. And a lot of people say Firmino,
very underrated.
Or Salah. Oh my God!
Right now it's Mane. You're right.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. He's shooting. his chances taken. Every time he gets in that position where he cuts in or he gets one-on-one, you're thinking he's burying this. He's good in the air, he's quick, he's strong, he's agile, and he reads the game well. Unbelievable player.
I'm speaking to a lot of fans of various teams, like Arsenal fans, Man United fans, Tottenham fans. They have this feeling. Well, many have this feeling that United might just do it. That this is one of the
weird things have happened.
One of them games where they just turn it around.
Such underdogs.
Can we see that happening?
Play my jingle, Lars. Play it.
This is Controversial Corner on Tiki-Talka.
4-0. 4-0.
United are going to win
Liverpool.
4-0.
It's going to be a Chelsea reprise.
Hey, I'm telling you, like, why not?
To be fair, we were the worst team against Chelsea. We
were terrible. We've been talking about derby days and what matters on these big days for years. And I'll tell you what matters on the big day. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing else matters. Everything's against United. The form, the run of play, the injuries.
But it's a nice position to be in.
I'm telling you.
In sport, to be the heavy underdog. You walk in free.
So why not? I'll say United 3-0.
I think logic tells
4-0.
me we've got no chance, but I get what you're saying, and it's happened.
But there is no
4
logic
times.
in football, my man.
No.
There is no. Lars, what about you? You feel like they're going to do it, don't you?
No.
Come on, Lars.
I think.
Yeah, get on the bandwagon, man.
Yeah. Now what should I say? I think Liverpool will win. That's the obvious. What should I say? Prediction to make. That Liverpool, obviously, top of the league, incredible start to the season. But at the same time, if you are Liverpool, I look at that. Look at the fixtures coming up. Away at a club that should be top 6 is the places where Liverpool would be fearful of losing them points, if that makes sense. Like, they won all 8 games so far. Where are they going to drop points? Because no team is going to win every game. Not even Liverpool, no matter how good they are. Where they're going to drop points. Old Trafford, I was at the game last year. Mental experience, like 20 degrees and sun in February.
Yeah.
I was in a t-shirt in Stratford in February.
Yeah.
It was mental. And that finished 0-0. And Liverpool, again, much superior team, fights for the league title. United, not so great. Obviously, this was after Solskjaer had come in. United were doing well, but obviously playing Liverpool is a difficult one.
Always.
But now, United, obviously, De Gea is out. Pogba is out. You were talking about the midfield safe that United would struggle to play through that. I think it's going to be down to a dead ball or a counter-attack if United are going to score here.
Because they're struggling to string together goals.
Yes, so if
we scored 16 goals in the last 17 games, something like that.
It's not good enough, is it?
The weird thing is that you try to play it to your strengths now, which is the counter, but then you have no one in the midfield who can string those kind of passes.
And we don't attack the 6-yard box. This was something that was really annoying me watching us. When Rashford's up front, Dan James is so quick, he constantly gets it out on the left. He'll be on his left foot, he'll cut it back and no one's there. You should have someone attacking the front post and someone behind them. So you drag a defender out and then you create space behind them. Or you just go straight to the front. We have no divergent runs at all.
I think they're really conscious of just keeping position at the moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like,
they're so afraid of getting broken down.
Exactly.
You look at Liverpool and City, where a lot of City's goals for us, where they get to the byline with either the fullback or the winger and they cut it back to either Aguero, who usually goes front post, and then De Bruyne or Silva or Bernardo, someone behind him. And they constantly score from that way.
See, when you've got someone like Fernandinho who can always plug those holes in, you can commit as many players as you want, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a difficult one for
It's going to be a difficult one for United, but when has logic ever had a place in football?
Yeah. Form goes out the window.
Nothing matters.
In the biggest games,
on
in
Derby
derbies
Day,
and stuff.
nothing matters. On Derby Day, nothing matters. Let's hope for a good game of football. 4-0.
If United can beat PSG away 3-1 with that team and like 17-year-olds playing and stuff, I think United have a fair chance of beating Liverpool
It can
at home.
happen. It can happen.
Definitely can happen. I don't think it will. That's just the logical saying. But it would be incredible if they did it. I think United don't have anything to lose. I feel obviously it's terrible to lose Liverpool for United, but most expected. I can see that Liverpool are the superior side, so why not just go for it?
Why not just go for it, Lars?
Why not?
Why don't they play us, man? We write to them every week saying, stick us up front, man. Stick us up front. And they never listen.
You don't know the connections I have with Ole and stuff.
Here we go.
Can I ask before my time is done?
Yes.
It's been a lovely time.
This has been great. This has been great.
Yeah.
Right. Allegri is the United manager. I want Allegri.
You
really want
You want
Allegri.
Norwegian out?
I want Norwegian out. You're sitting there in a Celtics shirt.
This is Controversial Corner on Tiki-Talka.
Lars, when you walked in here in a Celtics shirt, me and you from the start.
It was doomed to happen.
Right, Allegri, get him in. He's unbelievable manager. Have you ever seen the First Team Juventus show on? I think that's what it's called.
On Netflix.
You watch how he coaches Juventus, how he breaks down
proper coaching.
Oh my. And that's the type. He's the closest thing we can get to a Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp.
When did you give Ollie till?
I didn't like Ollie at the start. Even when we were winning, I remember having a conversation with you at yours, and I said it's all momentum. We could have got anyone because the problems were not fixed. And it's not that I have anything against Ollie. Maybe keep him at the club. Maybe I'd get Roy Keane as an assistant as well. Get all these layers.
I'm telling you, he'd scare some fear. Like Evra's there as well. Evra's there. People love the club.
But get Allegri leading the whole thing because he's a tactician. He's a mastermind tactician, like Jurgen Klopp and like Pep Guardiola, and then get the motivational speakers behind him if we need it. But don't have one of them as the manager. And that's just. I like Ollie. I like Ollie.
But
I just don't think
not good enough.
Well,
he's
a Molden manager and then he's Cardiff, right?
Yep.
Take away everything he's done at United. If this was a random guy who was the Molden manager and then got Cardiff relegated before Molden, sorry, and then he was the United manager, and then we have the worst run of form since 1980, whatever. What would you be saying? Would you be saying keep Ollie? No, you wouldn't.
People said it about Fergie, though.
Mourinho,
People said it about Fergie. Jurgen Klopp didn't have a great start. Big managers don't always have the great start. I'm not saying he is one of the greats, but I'm just saying it's not always smooth sailing.
Fergie had 4 years before he won anything at United.
That's what I mean.
So, but obviously a different time. But now it's time for us to go.
Have you enjoyed it, Brown?
Oh, I've loved that.
We've loved having you
I'm
on
not
there.
leaving. I'm not effing leaving.
I'm not leaving. We're going to try and make this like a regular thing. We're going to try and get people on it every week. And then once we've got a few people on, it can be recurring members time. And then, you'll get your hat trick. And we'll do the Soccer AM thing. When you get your hat trick, we'll give you a ball.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Safe, round it off. How's it been?
A great show again. Thank you again for
coming on. Thank you, Saif.
Fantastic.
Thank you,
Tune
Lars.
into Tiki-Talka. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming on.
Why is no one thanking me? No one's thanking me.
Thanks, Ward. Thanks, Saif. Thanks, Downtown Brown. Thanks to me as well. Lars Magnus.